So I believe this is tutorial 5, and today we are going to be making a 3D camera that moves around, follows the player, and creates the illusion of first-person perspective. So here we go. Or I'll make it third-person perspective. I think that's a little easier. Okay, so now here's the same player class that we had before, and it just rotated the wheels. Pretty basic. Okay, so now the first thing that we're going to want to do is set all these to rotation dot, the corresponding rotation, because I didn't have that done already. Okay, I'm going to keep this tutorial as quick as possible. Hopefully it's as quick as I had hoped in my mind. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a camera position. So I'm going to have a vector 3, I'm going to call it cam pose, and there we go. Then I'm going to set my cam pose is equal to new vector 3 of whatever the player's position is. So position dot x comma position dot y comma position dot z, and then I'm just going to leave this one. I'm just going to subtract 10, and he's going to be 10 units away. So here I'm going to do cam pose. Let's just see what that looks like for now. Okay, that's nice. Rotation dot x. Okay, so not quite. I forgot to give it y. I'll give it up 10 over 10, and it's the z-axis, not the x-axis. Okay, here we go. Now this is what our view is going to look like. I'll make it look a little better. I'd say 5 will look a little better. 15 will look a little better. Okay, so sure, this is good enough. I don't really know. I guess just play around with it. This is what I'm going to use. And okay, so now the next part is, now we're going to have to handle input in order to change the, well, let's do input later. First, let's just rotate the whole thing about the y-axis. Okay. Boom. Okay, so we're rotating about the y-axis. So now our camera position, we're just going to have to do a little bit of basic trigonometry. So our dot x position is going to be equal to our player's position dot x, and then we're going to have to do the distance from the center of the player, which I said was 15 right here, so I'm just going to say minus 15 times, yeah, I'm going to need to cast this, times the float of math dot sine of rotation dot y. So just some basic trig. Then cam pose dot y is equal to pose dot y minus 15 times float of math dot cos rotation dot y. Boom, there we go. Hopefully this will work as I had hoped. I don't know what the problem is. Rotation dot y, rotation dot y. Here we are. And I forgot to update the view. So the view is going to have to change every single frame. So, boom, boom. And instead of vector 3.0, we're no longer looking at the origin, we're looking at the player's position. So, there we go. That's not what I want it to do. Oops, not position, not Y, position, not Z. That's the issue. Just used to 2D graphics. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Now it'll work. And as you can see, it looks like it's not rotating, but it actually is. So let's quickly give it a reference point. I'm just gonna, because I don't feel like coding it in front of you guys, I will just quickly add a reference point. So okay, I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I just added a reference point. So as you can see, the car is moving and the bullet type, I just grabbed a random model that I had. So that thing is rotating around. So yeah, we know this is working properly. So I'll just quickly show you what this class was. All it was is a model, a position, and a bone transformation. So I'm going to delete that. So basically the only difference was that I had to load a different model, model.fbx, and I just gave it a specific position. As you can see, I'm not rotating it anywhere. I'm just setting it to this translation, and I'm scaling it up by 5 just to make it look big. And this is the biggest thing that I had to do. So for the player class, I only had to grab the projection. This I had to grab the projection and the view. So I just took the view from the player right here. So I just did p.view because I quickly changed it to a public variable so I could access it. And then that way they have the same view and there aren't any issues. And I just quickly added the texture. So yeah, this is basically what it's doing. Now let's do it so it rotates with input. Okay, so input stuff. We can do keyboard get state, and we can set it to keyboard state, I believe. Key state. There we go. Keyboard state, key state is equal to keyboard.getState. So now this is basically determining what your keyboard is like, what your keyboard looks like at this specific moment in time, or at this frame. Okay, so now let's say if key state is key down, and then we want to do keys, I believe, keys dot left, and then if key state dot is key down, keys dot right, and I'm just gonna say rotation dot y plus equals 0.05 f, and rotation dot y minus equals 0.05. And we'll get rid of this, and let's see if that worked. Now I can control how my player moves by clicking keys on my keyboard. So that's quite convenient. And obviously my wheels are rotating quite awkwardly. But I guess that's fine. I'll just make the wheel rotation a little faster so it looks nice. Okay, now let's do forward and backward movement. This will get a little trickier as well. Not that tricky, but up and down. Okay, so now we're going to have to handle position X and position Y. So position.x, we'll set that equal to that. Position.y is equal to nothing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we want to set it equal to its current player position.x. Pose idea. Okay, here we go. This is how you're going to do it. So you're going to add it to whatever your velocity is. So I'm just going to say my velocity is 5 times the float of math.sine of rotation.y. I'm doing this all in my head right now. Should have written it down. Float of math.cos of rotation.y. And of course I did that again, because I don't know. And we'll copy and paste this here, and we'll just do minus equals. And I don't think we did create translation. Yeah, we did not do create translation. So we're going to do matrix.create translation of our player position, which is pose. So here we are. Now we can move forward, backward, and let's quickly create a little variable that we call velocity so we can change it easier. Float velocity is equal to 1. We'll set it equal to 1. And we'll replace all these 5s right here with velocity real quick. And here you are. Now you can move your player around as freely as you like. And I suggest that you create constants for the rate at which the sensitivity and the velocity and all kinds of things. It's very helpful to have constants. So what we can also do is we can do this. We can say instead of putting that there, we'll put it here, and we'll put this here. So here we go. So we're moving forward, we're moving backwards. Turning, it doesn't move, but whatever. We can deal with that at a different time. So yeah, now your thing can move around across the screen. And then the next tutorial, which will not be coming out today, will be about collisions. Well, maybe. We'll see if I have time. So yeah, collisions. There are just going to be some pretty basic collisions. It'll just be I run into this.